Okay, what a premiere. Wow, just wow. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest, I really enjoyed the premiere of the Bad Batch season 3 for like a lot of reasons I'll probably get to explaining in just a bit. But I think it was a pretty fantastic premiere, if I'm going to be honest. I think a lot of people online have been agreeing this was pretty good. This is a pretty better premiere than season 2. Maybe even season 1, if I'm going to be honest. But I do like season 1 a tad bit better than the opening of season 2. But that's just me. I might be a little bit biased. But I still think it is pretty good. One of the main reasons that I found the premiere to be enjoyable was because it really had like some serious moments, some like emotional moments. Like the first episode of this three-parter, it starts off with Omega at Mount Tantiss, essentially being a prisoner. She's been there for like a good while. You see her routine. She's with the other clone. I forgot their name. Emirate. Yeah, she's with Emirate, just walking around doing her daily thing, doing daily blood testing. But that ultimately gets nowhere, since Nala Se is like confiscating her blood, throwing her blood away, because we all know that Omega is the key. Like, she is the main clone. She is the reason the Empire was after her for so long, because she's special. She's special from all the other clones, and I've been calling it since day one. She has some sort of force sensitive. I can't even say it. She has some sort of force sensibility or a high midichlorian count, which is what it was referred to in the show when it said she has a high M count, which is pretty interesting compared to some of the other clones that don't really have that, because at this point we know clones are not really force sensitive. Like, no matter how much you clone a person, you cannot replicate midichlorians, because it's nigh impossible. But with Omega, there's something different about her, and I really like how the first episode essentially just focuses her life at Mount Tantiss, how she's essentially a prisoner doing day to day. She can't really do anything, if I'm gonna be honest. She's stuck in her day to day. Oh, wake up, do this. It kind of reminds me of me when I go to my job in the mornings, warehouse, do the same thing over and over. It just kind of gets boring and repetitive, and you wish, damn, I don't want to be here. That's essentially what Omega felt. Omega, yeah, I know the grind. I know how it feels just working like a 9 to 5, and it just kind of sucks, if I'm being honest. Now, the second episode of the premiere, I found it to be, I don't know, I really liked the second episode, not gonna lie, because it reminded me a lot of the Flood. If you guys are familiar with Halo lore, you'll know the Flood is this like zombie-like-esque virus. And in the episode of season 2, episode 2, it kind of looks like the Empire created their own version of the Flood with divines, because that's the same vibe I got off while watching the episode. I'm like, okay, cool. So the Empire essentially created the Flood. You have the grave mind, you have the little spores. Yeah, what could possibly go wrong if we create a biological weapon that can create sentient, like grass-like bug type of creatures? Absolutely nothing. They proceed to do a base cell to 0 orbital bombardment, and like all the other clones that are there, like, just wipe them off. We don't really care about them. And I really like how we get to see the 3 remaining clones, the cadets, when they encounter Wrecker and Hunter. They just kind of like skeptical of them, because they don't really trust clones after being abandoned. Because if I'm gonna be honest, if I was one of the clones, I would be pretty skeptical too, because I'm like, okay, so the Empire's here to finish us off. But I really like the dynamic between all these 3 cadets, how they kind of mirrored Omega in the way that they were kind of lost, kind of helpless, that they didn't really understand too much, because they themselves were locked up at one point. It's pretty interesting, like, seeing those like 3 clones interact with Hunter and Wrecker. Another thing that I do want to touch upon is the fact that it's just Hunter and Wrecker, man. It just feels so sad. You can see like Hunter just struggling to do the computer stuff, like when he's flying the ship. I don't know, something about it just felt really saddening, just seeing them. Like, they've been doing this for months. It's just them trying to find Dr. Hemlock's location, trying to find any lead on Omega. They're desperate to find her, because they've already lost Tech. At this point, they've lost Crosshair. They don't know who else is alive. And it's just heartbreaking just seeing them, and just seeing Hunter and Wrecker just doing things alone, which honestly I really want to see the dynamic like grow between these two characters. I just want to see them do their thing and encounter Crosshair and Omega. Like, I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen when Palpatine came in. I think it was pretty fun surprise. Anytime he showed up, I felt a sense of dread and hopelessness. But other than that, I really enjoyed the premiere. And with that being said, did you guys enjoy the premiere? What do you give it? To me, I think it's the best out of all 3 seasons. But that's just me. Anyways, with that being said, I'll catch you guys on my next video. Hopefully the Bad Batch next episode is as good as the premiere. But yeah.